Good morning, everyone. We hope everyone is well. We're just going to wait for a few more people to come on before we start. Today's learning is dedicated in memory of Leah Bas Five of Rav Yaakov Tzvi David Aryeh Tzivia Bas Mordechai Avram ben David Slavin Shlomo ben Yisrael Morris Tzipora Bekel Bas Reuven Baruch Shalom ben Eli ben Bas Five from Shoshana Bas Yaakov Shmuel Kayla Bela Bas Henach Yirmiyahu Yechiel ben Moshe Eliezer Sarah Malka Bas Binyamin. Can you stop waving that around? And the outsides for today are Avram ben Gabriel Green, Chava Bas Yechizkiel Cohen, Rosa Bas Yosef Silva, Nochem Yitzchak ben Michal Gomer, Rafal ben Yaakov Homer. Good morning, everyone. Say good morning. They can see you. There, you have to wave into the camera. Wave. Okay, as you can see, we are in lockdown mode, and Hillary, it looks like, is going to be running the show today. Okay, but let's make a start. So, of course, I think we are all... No, you have to sit quietly now, okay? I think we are all still shocked and reeling from the... We are reeling from the news last night, the pictures that we saw on America on Capitol Hill with the storming of Capitol Hill and rioting, and 4 people, I think, have been killed. The scenes are shocking, and I think it underlines a point that we want to bring out over the coming days, and we'll touch on it today. But firstly, let's carry on, and we hope, of course, and pray that there should be peace restored to America as well. Of course, we're praying for all those that have COVID to be healthy and to be well. More and more, sadly, of our members now have COVID, and some of them are in hospital, and we are thinking and praying of all of them. All the more difficult, of course, because we can't go in to visit them. So let's make a start. So we've been discussing about mitzvot. Yesterday we said a very detailed or deep idea relating to the fact that when we look at commands, we don't look at them as just going through the motions, but we look at it in terms of what is it that we're meant to achieve? What is it that God wants from us? That is what a mitzvah, a command, is. And the idea is, of course, that it is something which is where we put God first and ourselves second. That is what a command is. It's the same in the army, the same in anything. And therefore it comes down to, are we living lives where it's homocentric or theocentric? What's at the middle, God or us? Clearly, when things go wrong, we saw yesterday over the fact that there are people that, rather than putting country first, it was self-serving, interested in what they and their purported distorted view of leadership and country is, and we saw the devastating effects as to what can happen. So the idea is what is it that is when we're talking about mitzvot and commands, we are talking about in terms of our role, what is it that we are meant to be giving rather than what is it that we're meant to be taking away. When it came to Egypt, so there was we speak about it every year on the Seder night, and that is the idea of avodas beforech, the idea that the type of servitude and slavery which the Egyptians engaged and employed the Jewish people in was such that it was mindless work, where there was no purpose to it. There was no creativity. There was nothing that would stand at the end of it. You know, the famous thing that we're all aware of, that avodas, you have to be quiet now, that the Jewish people were obligated to build Pitom and Ramses. Pitom and Ramses were 2 cities, and the whole reason why that Pharaoh wanted them to build these particular 2 cities was because it was like quicksand. So as quick as they built them, they literally disintegrated into the ground in front of their eyes. There is nothing more soul destroying than having, with the sweat, tears and toil that you have put into something, then watching it fall apart and being destroyed in front of your eyes, and then being told the very next day, come back and you're going to have to build it again. And then it being destroyed, and then the same thing happened again and again and again. There's a story that we often like to say tonight of a Russian prisoner of war, and he found himself in solitary confinement, and there was a wheel on the wall, and he was told that there was a mill on the other side, and he should turn the wheel, and then he would grind the wheat. So for, I think it was 2 or 3 years, every day, for hours on end, he would turn the wheel and grind the wheat. When he was eventually liberated, he asked that he be able to see the other side of the mill, what he was making, what he was creating. And lo and behold, when they took him in, they opened the door and there was nothing on the other side, and he literally fainted on the spot. Because when a person feels that they are being productive and constructive, then however difficult it is, you're able to push through. But when a person feels that it's a futile exercise, it's just mind games, then there is nothing more soul destroying than that. And in fact, the description of the work that the Jewish people did in Egypt was the idea of they worked for bread in order to eat bread. In other words, there is this mindless existence and pattern and cycle that we can get into where all we are doing is just working to keep working, right? There is no purpose to it. It's just working in order to keep working. And of course, there is nothing more. That was the description, in fact, the Babylonians in the Babylonian exile, that they were considered foolish for eating their bread with bread. In other words, they ate the bread, they worked, they just managed to subsist on what they had worked, and then they went back to work. There was no purpose to their work other than working. And I think one of the things that we've all realized as we've taken a step back is that we have to have purpose and meaning in some aspects of our life. Of course, there are menial tasks, there's all aspects of our lives that we have to do things that we don't necessarily enjoy and aren't fulfilling. But there has to be an aspect of life where we feel that we are creating, where we feel that we are connecting, where we feel that we are making a difference and contributing to the greater good. And for Jewish people, therefore, when we are going through life and we are performing any type of actions, we have mentioned already a couple of times that every single action that we have is subject to a command, to a mitzvah. And therefore, it's very easy for us to feel, or we should feel, that there's purpose. There's a right way and there's a wrong way to do it. There's a purpose to what we are doing. We are hopefully elevating this world and making it to be a more godly thing. And therefore, everything, even it can be shopping, right, can be elevated into something which is meaningful, right? And that is the way that we are able, please God, to come through this stronger as a consequence, because we are able to dig deep and to be able to find some purpose and meaning in every aspect of our lives. I should mention that, of course, and I appreciate all the efforts of our volunteers, which are incredible, selfless individuals. But if anyone is in good health and does want to help out being a volunteer and driving, right, I can't tell you, it is a lifeline when those packages come and are dropped outside somebody's door. It makes such a difference. And if anyone does want to, or maybe just to speak to other people on the phone lines that are lonely, it would make such a difference. Okay, we're going to stop there. There is much more to say, but in essence, that was the battleground between the Egyptians, the Egyptian mentality, and the Jewish mentality. For the Egyptians, it was all about nothing having any real worth, any real purpose. It was self-serving, whereas for the Jewish way of life, and this is what we were trying to break free from, right? And that was from this attitude of worthless to becoming worthful, something that where you can achieve something in life. We carry on now with the Psalm 23. I apologize, there is a lot of background noise today. Trying to find a quiet spot is becoming more challenging. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He causes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even as I walk in the valley of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You set a table before me in the presence of my adversaries. You anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. May only goodness and kindness pursue me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord for the length of days. We now come to the memorial prayer, and we wish long life to all those that have Yortzeit. I know the Cohen family are joining us today, and to Russell and to Sydney and all the family, we wish them in particular long life today, amongst everyone else that has Yortzeit. Adon Olamim Zocho Es Nishmois, Avram Ben Gabriel Green, Chava Bas Yechizkiel, Cohen, Rosa Bas Yosef, Silva, Nachum Yitzhak Ben Mecho, Gomer, Raphael Ben Yaakov Homer, Mordechai Ben David, Halevi doctors, Avram Ben Svi Rose, Leah Bas Bible, Rabbi Yashua Svi Ben David Ari, Tevi Bas Mordechai, from Ben David Slavin, Shalom Ben Yisrael Morris, Perapegel Bas Ben Baruch, Shalom Ben Lili Ben Bas Bible, from Moshe Shan Bas Yaakov Shmuel, Caleb Ben Bas Henach, Yom Yechiel Ben Moshe Eliezer, Saramaka Bas Ben Yamin, Shalchul in a Mambagan, Eide Temenu Chasam, Lachem Balarachamim, Yasuim Besaisa Kanapavlanamim, Besawas Akasrusam Adonai Nachlasam, Beanucha Bishlamish Gavam, Benamar, Amen. We wish long life to all those that have Yortzeit. We conclude with a Refuah Shlema prayer. Refuah Shlema prayer for all those that are unwell in our community. Refuah Shlema prayer for all those that are unwell in this country with COVID and other illnesses. And Refuah Shlema for all those that have COVID and are suffering around the world. We look forward, please God, to a day when everyone is feeling healthy and everyone is feeling well. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב משה אהרן דוד שלמה יברך רפס החיילים בעבור שאנו מתפללים בעבורם בזכות הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחם עליהם לחמו לחוסם וישלח להם וישלח להם שמם לכל לבם בסוף שחר ישוע רפוס נפש וסגוף השבח זמן קריב ונאמר אמן. Refuah Shlema to everyone who's unwell. Tonight we have our burst of inspiration, just like 15 minutes at 8:30 to 8:45. We say good morning to Carol, Rachel, Mervyn, Caroline, Nemi, Mervyn, so that's also Russell, and Colin, Estelle, Richard, Peter, Michael, and Powell. Good morning to you, and so many more. Wonderful to see so many people joining us. It should be a schus. In other words, the learning that we did should be a merit for those, of course, that have passed on, but it should also be a merit for the Almighty looking down on wish everyone well. Have a good day. Keep safe, keep well. Look after yourselves. We'll see